This is reposted.
Dr. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is a great book. I read it when I was working towards being more of a manager. A lot of things that don't apply to my life anymore. But we're going to look today at number 4 from the 7 habits, and it's think win-win. And what Stephen says about that is this: when one side benefits more than the other, that's a win-lose situation. To the winner, it might look like success for a while, but in the long run, it breeds resentment and distrust and distraction, I guess. I think people should focus on win-win more. I think most of the time people are out there trying to fight.
You know what? I would say this. I love the thought of young Andrew grinding his way through the engineering ranks. Oh, now I'm a manager. I got to read Stephen Covey. I got to learn some stuff how to manage people. I got to be a better person. I like that thought of that Andrew grinding and going like, I got to turn to Stephen Covey for some wisdom.
I was grinding. I'm still grinding. I think win-win is, I mean, you don't even have to be highly effective to think win-win. I think everyone should do it. Kids should do it.
Okay. Listen. Okay. I feel like we need Uncle Kirk back because this is totally a sales idea, right? Stephen Covey was like a sales guy, essentially. Because here's the thing, like if you're a salesman and you make a quick sale to someone to make a little bit of money, but you sell them a bad product, they're not coming back, right? They're going to use this thing that you sold them, and they're going to be like, that sucked. I bought it, I tried it, and then they're not going to come back. But if you can make a long-lasting connection between seller and sellee, like you offer them this product, it works, then you're going to have a customer for a long time. That's the idea of this win-win here. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's totally a sales thing. The first thing I thought of when I read this was California real estate. I remember I was trying to buy something in San Francisco with a pretty modest engineering management budget. I called multiple agents and I was like, here's my budget. And they're like, no, it's not worth it. That's not enough money to even take my time, and not seeing the bigger picture of like, maybe later on I'm going to buy something that's in your budget. And the agent I ended up using, I recommended 6 different people because he worked with me on a smaller budget and he sold 6 other houses because of it. And that's just thinking long term. I think even with like something as stupid as, hey, will you help me move this weekend? Like, it might not be a win-win in the moment, but just like think of other ways to help people want to be around you or want to help lift you up because you help lift them up. And the win-win doesn't have to be immediate. Like, it can come later on.
Dude, I think you're prophetic, dude.
Dude.
And then I think this idea, it's totally a long-term perspective. Like if you think in the short term, everybody wants to win, but in the long term, a small win is not going to help you in the long run.
No, just like stepping on someone else's head isn't going to make you successful. I mean, there's countless stories of people who made it to the top of the business world or an organization, and they did it by burning bridges, and later on it comes back to bite them. And it's the people that you want to look up to and that you use as role models are generally the ones that do it the nice way. Like, you get promoted because everyone loves working with you, and people are going to be more effective because they work with you, right?
And I also think this, once again, your long-term perspective in this winning for winning makes so much sense in marriage. Like, I might win a tiny little battle, like a short-term battle, but that's not the one I want to win. I want to win like the lifetime battle. And I feel like I've said this 1,000 times. I really have this rule with my wife when we're arguing. It's the 50-50 rule. Like, she's going to be right half the time and I'm going to be, I mean, in theory.
The spirit of that rule tracks for me, but I don't.
It is true. It is true. Listen, I am an infallible human being. So is she. She's right half the time. I'm right half the time. We're arguing. It doesn't really matter who's right or wrong. It's really about how we argue, whether than who's making the point of right or wrong. How do we argue? How are we getting through the problem? That is the winning part, not necessarily the winning because I was right.
Yeah. I guess another aspect of this is your ability to put your ego away. I mean, you're telling that story just now. It's like, okay, maybe maybe you're right. Maybe this one like maybe San Francisco had the earthquake in 1906 and not 1907. Like you have that argument. I don't know why I made that up, but you put it away. Like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Are we going to look back on our 20-year anniversary and say I won that argument? I think you brought me on board to your 50-50 rule. It really doesn't matter the details of it.
Woo!
Maybe some big picture stuff does.
I love this. This is the last thing I'll say is that I've had a great life. I had two parents that loved me. They didn't get divorced. I have been able for the entirety of my life to think long term. I don't have to make these quick, rational decisions. People that have had less opportunities than me have to think short term. They have to take small wins because they don't know if the win will ever come again. So I think I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying like there are people that have had different life experiences than me, and they just have to grab a win. And so when someone's being mean or not thinking long term, there might or might not be an adverse reason why.
Yeah. That made me think, I got one more thing. It made me think of Jay Leno told a story about he used to guest host. There was like 6 or 7 people that would guest host the Tonight Show. And he was saying that this manager who managed most of the other people, he was getting paid like $500 per episode when Johnny Carson wasn't there. And this guy, the manager's like, all right, we're all going to band together and we're going to say we need to get paid $20,000 per episode. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it for whatever they're going to pay me because I like doing it. And then a month later, he was the only one guest hosting. Flash forward to he hosted the Tonight Show and made millions of dollars. And if you think long term, the money is going to be there. And so this isn't necessarily about money, but like if you think about letting the other person win, like the Tonight Show won because they were going to pay him less money. Later on, it came back to him. So like you're saying, thinking in the short term is not necessarily going to serve you in the long term.
I feel like to sum that up is that we're going to be the next Dude Perfect, but without basketball tricks and fun sports.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We're going to be the next Dude Perfect. If you guys have a post you'd like us to further explore, please reach out. You can find us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Also on YouTube at Dude Perfect. I'm Andrew Keller for Larry Roberts saying thanks for stopping by.